What if you mashed up Water World with Rust and maybe Raft? You get something along the lines of Sunkenland. This was a game I showed off a good few months ago now, at least a trailer for it, give you a heads up at what to expect from the Steam page. But they've been busy bees since then. They've been showing off a whole slew of dev blogs, showing off various different parts of the gameplay, base building and the world you'll be exploring. And more importantly, the game is actually out in a couple of weeks, the 26th of August on Steam. So I thought it's about time we dive in, get it? Dive in and showcase what this game has got going for it. Let's go. Also, help me out and maybe the game too. Leave a like, leave a comment on what you think about it. Obviously go and check out the Steam page, which will be in the comment section down below. And by liking this video, hopefully we're getting it shared to more people that might go and check out an indie game developer making something fresh. And just a heads up, I have sped up some more of this footage just so I could show you it all in a quick brief time and talk over some of the plus points. Let's go. So Sunkenland is going to be a PvE or single player game at first. They haven't explicitly said they're going to open it up to MMO or PvP, but they've said they want to concentrate on it at the moment as just a single player and just co-op. But there is that little possibility that they might venture into either MMO territory later or add in PvP. At the moment you can play it with up to 10 of your friends, and of course it is only going to be on Steam in early access for a good while. So the danger, while you'll be using the multitude of weapons that are on show here, it comes from NPC clans that will raid you, basically pirates that you'll come across. You'll have to build up your base and hopefully defend against them, I'm guessing at certain points, or just encounter them as you go and forage for more loot. So a big part of the game is the base building. You are going to have these AI clans come and raid you. So you've got to be able to build, and obviously it's going to take time to get up to the point where you've got like a massive fortress. Clearly starting out with just the basics of wood. Looks like it's just a basic socket system. You know the deal. If you've ever played Rust, Conan Exiles, Ark, then this is pretty much the same sort of story. What I do really like is the defences though that you can really put around. So this is really cool, having to work out how things will go. Other 7 days to die maybe a little bit, and making sure that none of these pirates are going to get to your good loot. Everything from spikes to metal armour plates, and of course the habitual barbed wire. Some tyre stacks as well. I kind of hope they will do something like you could maybe bounce on them or cushion your fall if you dropped onto them maybe. But they're probably just for ducking behind as you shoot at the enemies as they come towards you. So maybe planning stuff out a little bit more to make sure your defences are well in line with your barricades, and just maybe you're funneling maybe enemies. I'm hoping they'll have some sort of brains or some sort of ways to get across, rather than just bottlenecking in one place and making it too easy for you to just mow them down. But either way, I like the additions of these defences. You've got some crazy perplex glass there as well. But as we know, if you want to survive, then you're going to need something maybe a bit more dense. So how about a metal tier? I can't sit here and say the game looks amazingly pretty. The water's kind of nice, but obviously it's meant to be in a post-apocalyptic world. That said, I still think there are some rough spots around the game. When you don't remember how maybe obviously DayZ and Rust looked at the time, even for their time when they released, they were not lookers. There were definitely games, a hell of a lot of games, looking better than them. So as long as these base building mechanics are functional and they serve a purpose and it's not too cheesy but also does the job and helping you, then I can live with the game maybe looking a bit dated. Obviously it is a survival game, so whether or not you've got anyone attacking you, you're still going to have to make sure you've got enough food, and so foraging around for the right kinds of stuff is important. Berries, meat, and obviously being able to cook that stuff. I like the idea of really diving down into the water. That is a pretty unique aspect to this game, much more so than some others that may have come out. And obviously farming and making sure you've got renewable crops, or maybe just a little bit of light fishing. And yeah, this looks kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. It's the basics. Hunting a marlin with a spear, man, that thing would stab you up for sure. I hope there is a lot of dangers in the water to make it that you might have to get some better gear before going too deep. So that underwater experience, as I said, is pretty crucial. Having interesting places to explore, like this Ferris wheel underwater. Yeah, I'm down for this. This is definitely an interesting concept. All too often, I complain that so many games basically make underwater really boring. For me, so many games, survival games, They do have underwater, but it's just boring. And in real life, I guess it is boring. Like, unless you've got a spear gun and you're fighting sharks, what else are you really doing with underwater? But this does look a bit more interesting than what I've seen or played before. Actually going into proper ruins, obviously measuring your time. Hopefully there'll be ways to increase it with diving gear and stuff like that more, and upgrade yourself slowly, or find rare loot that'll help you get through the water a bit quicker. Yeah, this is cool. But of course, you're not just exploring the waterways. There is going to be some time to spend on land. Whether or not this is your bases, I don't think so. Maybe an outpost that you're about to raid and hopefully get some sweet loot from. It definitely has a real post-apocalyptic vibe to it. I firmly believe this is a world been ravaged, and so there's only small spaces of land left in the world. Then shows off a few more interesting places with some high-rise rock blocks and city sort of escapes or townscapes and stuff. And yeah, again, it's all very pretty drab and grey and sort of beige looking, but it does fit the kind of theme of the game. And then you have to go back quite a way to see some combat. So all these videos you've been seeing have been from the last few months. This combat bit, testing or showing some stuff off, was from a good 11 months ago. So hopefully things have improved a bit more. I don't think it looks that bad, actually, to be fair. I've seen a fair few janky first person survival games over the last couple of years, and yeah, this doesn't look that awful. The bandits are, yeah, all interesting. It does show some sort of skeleton men and stuff, but I was presuming that they may just be test kind of mobs or characters, but you never know. Imagine if there is mutants running around as well as pirates. And then, yep, they've got like a whole 14-minute video showcasing building amongst the ruins, like a really big city. And I really like this as well, that you might be able to take over one of these landscapes and utilise parts of it as part of your base. Not so much for protection, because clearly he's not just putting a campfire on this ruined building, he still has to put his own foundations down, but you see how far they reach into the water sides, and at least you can use some of these buildings to at least walk on or have just as decoration as you start to build up your base. Seems like foundational support's important, and pillars as well, so you can support yourself. A whole variety of different crafting benches and cooking stations and more, and so many cosmetics. For a drab kind of world, they've got an extraordinary amount of pictures and items that you can place to hopefully make the post-apocalyptic experience just a little bit nicer and homely. I'm more than likely going to leave a link to this video specifically so you can check it out for yourself, but you get to see the point where he's made like 2 or 3 different layers here of this trailer, and just so much more functionality with crafting benches and building even more, and then set up even more farms and all sorts up here. And then, yeah, I've got this perspex glass which gives you a chance to have some windows and look out onto, I guess, the barren sea. Obviously, we know there's sailboats in the game. It does look like there's jet skis as well. I'm hoping they'll be adding much bigger boats or interesting boats as well. Maybe like catamarans and, I don't know, maybe even hovercraft and stuff like that as well. But yeah, this is a really cool little thing, showing off the highlight of the gun. So you've got a gun nest to hopefully defend against the pirates eventually when they attack. So the NPCs that do attack, it's got to be interesting. It can't be too janky. There's got to be ways to set up interesting defenses, but not, like I said, just be all too cheesy. I do like the idea of this being a full-blown PvP game. I know Rust is kind of king, and to go up against Rust and stuff like that, you really do have to have something special. But this does feel like it's got something a bit more unique with its water attention. So leaning more into that, even if it does end up just still being a single player or co-op game, where you'll be exploring underwater with really very different biomes or locations to get certain pieces of gear. It shows also a bit of trading as well with NPCs and stuff. And that's all good. The bases are really different in terms of uniqueness and how you can build them up to multi-story level. And yeah, a whistle-stop tour of this game. Like I said, it's coming out on 26th of August. That is pretty much a lot of the gameplay they've revealed in the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 months or so. And go and give them some support. Go and wishlist it at least, and check out some reviews hopefully when it's here. With maybe up to 10 player co-op, it does seem like it's tailor-made for friends who are just messing around. Could you make your post-apocalyptic base look as cozy and nice as this? Maybe, if you've spent long enough in the water foraging for some of this stuff. Link will be in the comment section to their wish list and their Steam page. And as always, I'll see you ratbags for more survival news soon.